What's up, Commanders fans? Welcome into Believe in Commanders. Thank you for joining us. We're feeling good. The Commanders are on a 3-game win streak, looking to make it 4, and arguably their biggest game of the season against the division rival, the New York Giants, who also happen to be the team right in front of them in the standings. So a huge game all around this Sunday in the Meadowlands in New Jersey, not New York. They're fakers. They're not actually they're not actually in New York. They're in New Jersey. But it's Brian Murphy. It's AAA Anthony Armstrong. How are you doing, my friend?
Man, I'm good, man. The weather done got cold over here, though, man. It was in the 30s this morning. It was like 32. I was out there training my group of campers, and I was like, let's get up out of here quick, y'all, because it is chilly. But the team is hot.
That's right. That's right. It's a little brisk outside, but hot on the field, and it's time to cash in on some of the Commanders and bet on those teams. So tell us how we can do that at Bet Online, guys that bring us our show each week.
Yes, indeed. You can go to Bet Online, get all your betting in. The basketball's back. That's the big thing that's on right now. Luka Doncic is probably the best in the world. You can bet on him at Bet Online. He's amazing. It's good. Bet Online is going to remain your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. You're going to find all your latest odds, the team matchup info, player news, and the game trends over there at Bet Online. As your continued source for all sports wagering information, Bet Online features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and the easiest way to bet all your favorite sports and events, whether that's NBA, NFL, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, or even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure you use our promo code BELIEVE to get your reward. That's BLEAV. Get that 50% welcome bonus. Brian, who is your hockey team?
My hockey team are the Caps. Yeah, the Caps. I remember going to games when I was little, back when I used to live up in Maryland. That's why I'm a fan of all these DMV teams. But yeah, the Caps. So still riding high from 2018, holding out hope that another cup is on the way before Alex Ovechkin calls it a career.
Yeah, I have an OV jersey in my closet right now.
Sweet.
Matter of fact, it's not signed or anything. I got it off the rack. I went to one Caps game when I was up there with Washington.
Getting a bell. That's a good job, Bell.
Yes,
That's what
indeed.
That was.
Yes, indeed. But I'm also a Stars fan. Went to a Stars game. Took the family there this past maybe a couple of weeks ago. So that was a fun experience as well.
You mentioned basketball, and I saw this. You mentioned Luka. I know we're going to get to the Commanders. Don't worry. He tied Dirk Nowitzki for the most 40-point games in Mavs history. That is absurd to me. This guy has been in the league, this is his 4th year, 5th year?
Yeah, he's 23. He's 23 years old.
He's already tied one of the all-time greats, Dirk Nowitzki, with 20 40-point games. That's unreal.
He also just tallied his 51st triple-double in his career. So he's only second to the great Oscar Robertson in obtaining triple-doubles in a quick fashion. So Luka Doncic, man, that guy's absolutely crazy. I think he'd be a great tight end.
Oh, yeah.
He'd be able to play tight end. I don't know if we could do him at quarterback just because I don't know where hell he's going to throw the ball. But that's neither here nor there. That is neither here nor there. Let's jump into this thing.
Yep.
Big matchup coming up on Sunday. We got the Giants and the Commanders teeing off at what is it? What's that field called?
MetLife? Is that MetLife? Everything changes every now and then.
Some people call it Jet Life, but this week it's MetLife Field. It's supposed to be sunny, about 48 degrees or so. Should be clear weather. What do you think in this game? What do you think?
Well, I'm thinking, at first when I saw the schedule, I was getting nervous because those Giants are all of a sudden really good. I'll admit that when I saw the Giants in back-to-back games with the bye week in between, I was like, okay, a dub going into the bye week, a dub coming out of the bye week. But Brian Daboll, man, he's unreal. He's got this team clicking. They started 6-1. They look like one of the best teams in the league. They've lost 3 out of 4, but that's the NFL. You're still in a good spot, or the Giants are still in a good spot at 7-4. I mentioned at the beginning, they're right ahead of the Commanders, who are 7-5. So this is no walk in the park. This is a huge 2-game stretch over 3 weeks with the bye in between. This is huge. And I think the Commanders absolutely need, nothing's a must-win game, but I think they need to get at least one of these. And it'd be sweet to steal this one on the road, go into MetLife and get a big dub. And right now, the way that the Giants are playing, they've lost 3 out of 4. It's prime picking time, and I like the Commanders in this matchup from an X's and O's standpoint.
I like the Commanders too. I mean, when you go and look at just some of the stats about what New York is doing, you were correct. They started off the season on fire. I mean, 6-1. Nobody thought that was going to happen, but they made it happen. I personally feel like they just kind of they've run out of juice. I don't know if they have anything else in the cupboard that they're going to be able to go in and whip something up, unless Brian Dable finds a way to install some new plays and get some more out of Daniel Jones. I mean, Saquon Barkley's been playing out of his mind. He's got more rushing yards than I think 4 or 5 NFL teams right now.
And real quick, I love to see that. I'm so glad that he is back and healthy.
Absolutely.
The league is better when Saquon Barkley is out there doing his thing. As much as I hate it for the Commanders, I love it for the game of football.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's definitely. I would say you got to put him in the mix for comeback player of the year. And the other guy I would say is Geno Smith. I think just what he's been able to do has been pretty special as well. But the Giants' schedule does not play well for them to have a strong finish of this season. They got 2 matchups with the Commanders, 2 matchups with the Eagles, and plus they got the Vikings and then the Colts. So there's a good chance they could lose the vast majority of those things, but it's going to be a tough challenge for them to try to make it into the playoffs. I personally feel that Washington's schedule is a little bit more friendly, if you will, and it bodes well for them to use that momentum with a few other things to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, for the Commanders, first of all, off the top of my head, I know the competition is a little tough. I think the Browns are better than their record show. We know the 49ers are good, the Cowboys, and then obviously the 2 against the Giants. But after this week, your last 4, 3 of them are at home. So definitely got to take advantage of those games and win those games at FedEx. I think we saw what it can be against the Falcons, and hopefully down the stretch with this team winning more football games, it'll be even sweeter and louder in that play. So I'm with you. I think the Giants kind of struck gold early, but are kind of falling on hard times. And the reason I say that it sets up nicely for the Commanders is because the teams that have beat them, the Seahawks are a little bit different animal. Geno Smith's just throwing the ball all over the place. They do have a good running back in Kenneth Walker III, but the other 2 teams, the Lions and the Cowboys, absolutely gashed them on the ground to the tune of over 160 yards. And between the 2 teams, 6 rushing touchdowns. And what do our Commanders like to do? They love to pound the football. With Brian Robinson heating up last week, we know what Antonio Gibson can do. And even Jonathan Williams got in there and had a couple of nice carries. So this sets up really, really nicely for the Commanders. And I think the blueprint is what they've done over this hot streak is just run the football.
Absolutely. You got to lean that way. You never know what the weather will be like. I know I said it's going to be 48 and sunny, but hey, it could end up being windy and rainy up there in New York out of nowhere. So it's definitely big to just continue to run that ball. But you talk about run the ball, the defense needs to stop the run. New York's lost these last 2 games. They've been held under 100 yards. One thing I did notice on the statistics all year, they're 6-0 when they run for over 100 yards. 6-0 if they get over 100 yards on the ground. They're 1-3 if they're under 100 yards rushing. So with Washington's defensive line being their strong suit, and yes, last week they gave up a whole bunch of yards to Atlanta, but Atlanta's, that's what they do the best. They don't do much else well. They do that really, really well. So they chalked that one up. But I say this matchup against Saquon Barkley in this running game is going to be a great one for Washington, even if they don't throw Chase Young out there.
Yeah, they are top 5 in the league in rushing, even with those couple of weeks off. You're 5th in the league in total rushing yards. They run it really well, and it starts with Saquon Barkley. But just like Marcus Mariota last week, just like Jalen Hurts a couple weeks back, Daniel Jones can run the football pretty well, and he can keep it and he can sneak it on you a couple of times. We've seen him. I think he's done it against the Commanders, against the Redskins, against the football team before. Yeah. So, they got to look out for him. I think it's largely going to be kind of the same idea of what the Falcons did. The Giants have struggled on the receiver side of things with injuries. Wan'Dale Robinson went down. Kenny Golladay just hasn't been that guy. They traded Kadarius Toney. I mean, they're looking for guys. They're rumored. OBJ is going to visit them. He could probably start for them immediately because that's how thin they are at wide receiver. So I think that it's their bread and butter to run the football, and they're going to hopefully use the run to set up the pass like the Falcons did. So hopefully the Commanders watch that tape. Like we said, there was some bad stuff. Even in a win, there can be some bad stuff, and hopefully they took that to heart and are ready for this next vaunted rushing attack, because the Giants can bring it at you too.
Yeah, I don't have any lack of confidence in the defense to step up to the occasion. Because you remember when they played Houston, you were saying that John Allen was almost to tears at how upset he
Yep.
was at the defense giving up over 100 yards in the second half when they just held Houston to 5. Now,
Yep.
I don't expect them to hold the Giants to 5 yards and a half, but I do expect them to have a very, dominating performance, inspired performance, even if they don't get Chase Young. I keep mentioning that because I have my feelings about if they should throw him out there or not, but I think they can beat him without. They don't need Chase Young to win this game. And I think that the defensive line is going to definitely continue to be the anchor and the foundation for this team.
Well, can you imagine in a game that they only gave up 100 and something yards, like you said, against the Texans? What was John Allen saying after they gave up 160 something on the ground to the Falcons? You know that probably bruised some of their egos, and he probably had those guys doing double time, this week in practice. So I'm with you. I think that they will bounce back. Saquon Barkley's a different animal. He's going to get his, but can you limit him? And I think that the Commanders will have a really good plan in place to try to do that.
Absolutely. And you mentioned not Mariota. Daniel Jones is probably watching tape of Mariota and saying, hey, I can do some of those things. I mean, he's coming in with about 450 yards rushing this year, 4 touchdowns. That's really good production for this guy. I mean, Saquon has close to 1,000, but he has 1,200 total scrimmage yards. So they're going to find a way to get him the ball. Saquon is the engine to this offense. He is what makes this thing go. The first couple of snaps of watching the tape of New York versus Dallas, I realized they don't throw the ball downfield very much. They only throw it downfield to Darius Slayton. At least they did in that game. He's their big play guy. They don't have much help elsewhere outside on the receiver position. And a lot of it is just rollouts, get the ball out of Daniel Jones's hands quick, and let Saquon do some of the heavy lifting. So it's going to be I would feel like it's going to be similar play calling that they've seen on tape going up against the previous opponents for New York, and I'm excited to see how they match up. Especially, I don't know, is BSJ supposed to play? Would love to see him get back out there. And I saw some talks about there's some shuffling across the offensive line right now. Trey Turner may be out. Sam Cosmi may move down to right guard, and then that could bring. Who they had that? I got to go look at the tweet. Basically, they're doing some shuffling on the offensive line. They're trying to play some things. I think Wes Schweitzer is making his way back as well from that concussion. So there's some healthy people coming back for Washington.
Yeah, that offensive line they were mauling Falcons all over the place, and Cosmi came in with that club on his pinky on his hand. It looks so goofy. It looks like he just has a huge pinky finger. But man, I think they're doing a good job of putting their best guys out there. Like, it's kind of like basketball. You kind of avoid the positions late in the game, right? Like, you just kind of have your 5 best guys out there, and I think that's what they're trying to do with the offensive line. Like, Trey Turner's fine. I mean, he could do a good job for you over a 60-minute game, but you could probably get a little bit more, like you said, with a Sam Cosmi and a Cornelius Lucas just kind of road grading in front of these guys. So I like to hear that. I did see that Antonio Gibson has been limited with a foot injury, and I think Scott Turner talked about it. He doesn't seem too worried, but I think he had a toe or something last year or the year before, so that's something to keep an eye on. But if that means more Brian Robinson, what we saw last week, more Brian Robinson is a good thing. So I think that they'll be okay, whoever is out there running the ball.
Absolutely. And you mentioned Brian Robinson right on time. My number 2 key for Washington is to run the ball and control the time of possession. You mentioned it already, 169 on the ground versus Dallas, 160 versus Detroit. Both of those games, those teams had the ball well over 30 minutes. Washington can do that. They did that against Philly. They can do that here. But you got to be careful because the defense does have 13 forced fumbles on this year. They don't have a lot of interceptions, so it's kind of flipped from what Atlanta does. New York's going to get up in your face. They're going to play some press, but they don't give up. They don't get a lot of interceptions. So, maybe you can throw the ball a little bit and trust that your receivers are going to be able to pluck it out of the air. But right now, man, if I'm looking at this running game, I am going to run this ball every single time, and I'm going to demoralize them with it. That's what the plan would be for me.
Yeah, and when it's wide open because they're biting down on the run, you go to Terry McLaurin, who has had some huge games against the Giants. I was just looking at his stats. I think it's 5 games against the Giants. He averages 7 catches and 95 yards. Plus, I think he's got 3 or 4 touchdowns against them. So when they give you the pass, go right to number 17. Let him have a huge day. So I'm trying not to be a homer, and I know the Giants have played really well way better than anyone expected them to, especially with a first-year head coach. But I really like the Commanders, on offense against them. I like the Commanders on defense against them. I think that they have the advantage. Now, you have to go out and execute, like we all know. You don't play a game on paper, but just the way the trends are going, it's certainly leaning in the Commanders' favor.
That is a fact. That is a fact 100%. I mean, all in all, this is a game that you need to win as a Commander. You have to get this W. You can't afford to go into the bye on a loss. I mean,
right.
We were talking earlier in the year, this week 14 bye week, we circled it because I was like, man, this could end up playing in their favor. Generally, late bye weeks suck. They really do, because you have to just deal with injuries and you have to play injured. I mean, now mind you, everybody's hurt when they're playing at some point in this league, but week 14, the season's almost finished. You know what I mean? And you're still just haven't even had that week off yet. Yes, there's been the Thursday to Sundays where you have that 10-day period or whatnot, but that ain't the same. That bye week is something special. So it's going to be strategic for Washington, see how they use that bye week.
Yeah. To me, this kind of lines up kind of like a baseball series, right? So baseball teams obviously play 3 and 4 games at a time, and a lot of them go over the weekend. So a team will take the Friday and Saturday game feeling pretty good about themselves, and then they'll drop the Sunday matinee. And to me, that's almost worse. To me, I want to finish out the sweep at that point. You know what I'm saying? And go into that next series or that off day on Monday with a clean 3 or 4 game sweep. And while the Commanders have played well, going 7-1 sounds a lot better than going 6-2 going into the bye week. So I'm with you. I think you almost have to win this game, assert yourselves, move up in the playoff standings, go take that 6th spot from a division rival. Could you imagine they're sitting at 1-4, basically buried in the division, and then by the time their bye week rolls around, they've moved up past one of those teams with Dallas and Philly just ahead of them? So that would be sweet, and I think you really got to go for it. I think you got to attack success, and while a split would be ideal, I think you should be greedy and go get the sweep of the Giants here.
Absolutely. And the guy that we've mentioned multiple times, and Chase Young.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you feel about him playing? Should they put him out there? I've seen some tweets where they're like, you gotta do it. You gotta put him out there. What do you think?
So Pete Haley, who we've had on, who's really great, he said it sounded like Ron Rivera said that the terrain is not going to affect their decision, right? And maybe that's coach speak or whatever, but Ron Rivera is saying it doesn't matter. Then I see an interview with Logan Thomas talking about the World Cup and how soccer players refuse to play on turf, and how the best in the world, if the best in the world in soccer refuse to do it, shouldn't the NFL kind of do the same thing? Mm-hmm. And he said that he's maybe not nervous, but he knows the risks. I think you just wait another 2 weeks now at this point. I mean, you've gone this long. You've had this much success without Chase Young. Mm-hmm. Get him all the way back. Get him out in front of your home field on grass where he's a little bit more comfortable. I don't think there's any need to push it just for 1 week going into the bye week. So I'm okay with him warming up like he's going to play, and then putting on his favorite Commanders hoodie and watching the Commanders hopefully take care of business.
100%. I was just speaking with Big Blue Banter, I want to say it is. If I'm getting it wrong, I apologize. But Dan and Matt, they had me on, and matter of fact, Jeff Shaw brought up as well. There's been a lot of injuries, and I just pulled up an article. Calais Campbell, he's basically with the NFLPA. He wants grass fields. The Ravens had 2 players get lost to season-ending injuries at MetLife Stadium on week 1. It was offensive tackle Juwan Jones tore an Achilles. Kyle Fuller got his cleat stuck in the turf and suffered a torn ACL. And then, hell, even right here it says Saquon Barkley said he's really not a fan of turf. And J.K. Dobbins, nobody likes turf. I wouldn't put him out there. No. I wouldn't do it. Not this week. Not this week. Like I said earlier, I think you can beat New York without Chase Young. Not that he's not, a great player. He's going to bring a lot of firepower back. But the way that this team is sitting right now, you have a chance where everything's in front of you, everything to gain. No need to put Chase Young out there right now. You have an extra week of seeing him practice and get even healthier and be more prepared for that second time around. Because I look at this thing like this. you're playing the same team within a matter of, let's call it 2 weeks. It's really 3, whatever. But you're playing the same opponent sandwiched by a bye week. You have a chance to roll out one, look in the first game, and then the second game can be a completely different look. One time I played a team back-to-back, and this was not in the NFL. It was in the Intense Football League when I was with the Odessa Roughnecks. We played the team from San Angelo one week, and then we literally beat them and said, we'll see you next week, because we had to play them back to back. And it was very weird. It almost felt like, those cricket matches that go on for like 9 days. It felt like that, because it was like we just got done playing. And then here we are again playing you, just at a different location. So in my eyes, I'd use it strategically, let him wait. I'd rather have Chase Young after week 15 and beyond and going into the playoffs, rather than just trying to put him out there on turf against the Giants.
Me too. And to a lesser degree, Benjamin St. Juice, who I think you mentioned earlier, dealing with an ankle issue, didn't play last week. Same thing for him. I don't think you need to put a wonky ankle out there on turf by any means. Yeah. So give him a couple extra weeks and bring him back. And then who knows, maybe you have your full complement of weapons outside of Cole Holcomb, who's on IR, but maybe you have your full complement of weapons on the defensive side of the ball, maybe for the first time in a year and a half at this point. So that would be pretty sweet to say. And you get a win against the Giants going into the bye week, coming out of the bye week, you got that excitement to look forward to and sneak away with 2 in a row. So yeah, I'm with you. I think we're on the same page there. And I kind of, just kind of reading between the lines, it kind of feels that way because Chase Young's been limited this week in practice. It just kind of feels like they're letting him work out a little bit and then just going to kind of shut him down through the bye.
Yeah. And a lot of times, injuries, sometimes the recovery, the bounce back, like going from day to day, like you work out one day, is there a lot of soreness? Does swelling come back? I'm sure that, there's probably just a little bit of soreness and maybe discomfort here and there, but it's safer to just go ahead and wait it out. They'll be all good. They'll be all good. Right. One good thing, though, is that they have a player of the month.
An award winner, a major award winner.
Award winner, Joey Slye, out there, West Virginia guy, right? He didn't go to West Virginia?
I don't know. He looks like it with the mountain man beard and all that. It wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, I know he's a local kid. Congratulations to Joey Slye, man. He got the special teams player of the month for the NFC, which is pretty good. He's made some big kicks against really big kicks in all these games. All November, he's been really kicking it through the posts. Thankfully, helping the big win against Philly and just having a solid month overall. So you got to give him his love.
Yeah, Virginia Tech is where he went. So close, one of the Virginias. And he led the NFC in scoring and field goals and obviously field goal percentage. He did not miss a field goal. I think that extra point last week against Atlanta was his only miss in the month of November. So huge ups to him. I thought he was kind of shaky at the beginning of the year. Thought we might be going into another kicker carousel. So hopefully he gets excited about this and finishes out the year strong because kickers make a big difference. And this team that's winning these close battles, they can take every point that they can get. So shout out to him. And that's impressive. And that's right off the heels of Tress Way winning special teams player of the month, I think, for October. So the punter and the kicker, they got that locked down in the DMV for sure.
There we go. If we can get an offensive player of the month or a defensive player of the month in December, we would complete it would be a trifecta at that point. Then we'd have one remaining award to lock up. But there's a few other rewards that are out, or awards, some voting, y'all. Pro Bowl voting is out there. It's going on till December 15th. It started November 15th, but that's in the past. So you've got it's December 1st now. So happy birthday, Aaron. Yes, you got 2 weeks. 2 weeks, guys. Go and vote. Who are you be voting for, Brian? Who you got?
From the Commanders specifically?
Yeah.
I would put Tressway in there first and foremost. I really think that he, not to be biased, but I think that he is the best punter in the league. I would put him in there. Shoot, give me Joey Slye. Just send both of our specialists there. I would throw in Terry McLaurin, who's quietly in the top 10 in receiving. I don't think we realize that. He hasn't scored as much, only 2 touchdowns, but just quietly in the top 10 receiving. Just goes about his business like nobody else. Love that guy. And then I would throw in John Allen and Deron Payne. They're just having other out-of-this-world performances on the defensive line. So I think those 5 would probably get my immediate votes, and I could be talked into a couple others.
Yeah, I think a guy that you got to consider as well, Montez Sweat.
Yeah,
Montez Sweat, he's had a great year as well. A lot of sacks, hitting the quarterback quite often. I mean, you can't go wrong with most of the names across the defensive line. If you like, D linemen with wrestling moves, vote for John Ridgeway. Why not?
Yeah,
you want to vote for a great name? Vote for Rashad Wildgoose. Put him in there. You can vote on Twitter. I think it's like Pro Bowl vote, like hashtag Pro Bowl vote, and you can put their name on there.
Yeah, and there's some tweets out there that you can just retweet, and that actually counts as a vote. But if we're going based off of PFF scores, which I mean, I kind of take with a grain of salt sometimes, but it's still, hey, you're the top. I think Cam Curl and Derek Forrest are right there at the top in terms of safety scores for PFF. So those guys just looking really good in their young guys too, which make me really excited for the future. So a couple of guys that I would absolutely vote for, and I think there are a couple of guys that one day, if not this year, are going to get that nod because there's some special stuff going on in DC.
That is the truth, man. I think the Robinson kid, I think he's somebody that could definitely be a player of the month or Pro Bowler for sure. Down the line. I mean, there's a lot of talented players on the Washington offense, but go vote for them, y'all. Go vote for those folks. Let's see here. What do we got?
I think that does it. What we got next is the Commanders beating the Giants one week, getting a week off, and then doing it again. So one more stat to go. The Giants allow 5.2 yards per carry. So that's second worst in the NFL. That makes me really excited because I think the one thing missing from Brian Robinson's game has been breaking that long run. I think we see one of those. That's my bold prediction, that we see at least one 25-plus yard run for Brian Robinson, if not the Commanders as a whole. But I think that the running game is going to be clicking. I think what we've seen over this last month, they're going to ramp it up and have one of their best games of the year this Sunday.
I like it. But I got my keys right here pulled up. So this is what I'll drop my ending. 3 keys for Washington's victory, success here on Sunday. Number 1, you got to control Saquon Barkley in that running game. Like I said earlier, they're 6-0 whenever they run for over 100 yards, 1-3 when they don't. And they're coming off of 2 performances of 90 and 89 yards against Detroit and against Dallas. So those are two stats that you really got to pay attention to. Definitely want to make sure you get that time of possession on your side. So hand it off. Do not get tempted. Like I said last week, do not get too tempted to throw the ball. I think there are plays to be made out there because you will get some man coverage, and Terry McLaurin finds a way. He always is open. All right, so you're going to be able to get some plays, but start out with the running game. That leads to number 2. Start out with the running game. Win that time of possession. When they give up 169, 160 yards to two teams that start with D, then that means you're going to come in there and try to run for 170 yourself. Right. Third thing, number 3, get after the quarterback. You're going to have to get after Daniel Jones and make him uncomfortable. Send an extra safety in the box, put some pressure on him. Brian Dable is trying to simplify the reads for Daniel Jones, rolling him out, getting him out of the pocket, making him only read half of the field. And he is using his athleticism a little bit, but I think there's enough speed on this Commanders defense that they can stay with him. Shouldn't allow too many big plays and allow too many big yards, but keeping the pressure on him, this offensive line is giving up 33 sacks. They have a rookie left guard and a rookie right tackle. Evan Neal is the tackle. He's pretty good. The rookie left guard, he may not be in there. I think his last name is Zudu. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it, but you got to think John Allen and Deron Payne are circling that young fella and saying, there's another rookie right here at left guard. Let's go have a little winner chicken dinner. So, those are my 3 keys, man. You got to stop the run. You got to run it, and then you got to get after Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I would go to BetOnline right now and put the over on Commanders rushing yards and the over on sacks, because I'm with you. I think they try to get an early lead and then make Daniel Jones throw the ball around and make his life living HE double hockey sticks for the rest of the game. So head over to BetOnline. Think about our keys to the game. We'll be back with our picks in a later episode this week. If you're watching on video, we'll do that here in just a second. But you got the recipe, you got the cookbook from AAA, you got your keys to the game. Now the Commanders just need to go out there and do it. move up in the playoff spots, move up in the division, and let's have a good Sunday this coming Sunday. So thanks to our guys at Bet Online, and don't forget you can listen to us all over the place and watch us on YouTube when Believe posts this. You can see our pretty faces, but listen on TuneIn Radio, SiriusXM, Stadium, and all your podcasting platforms. AAA, be good. We will talk soon, and hopefully we're talking on Monday about another Commanders win.
Man, I tell you, Victory Mondays are awesome. Let's make it happen.
That's right. They're a little bit easier to take, right? A victory Monday is better than a loss Monday.
That is the fact. That is the truth.
All right. You all be good. We will talk to you soon. All right. You want to just jump into picks?
Yeah, let's do this thing. I was like changing up my little the way I draw my stuff up, and I don't like it that much. But it is what it is. We're gonna make it work for this week. So we don't have any graphics, but let's do this thing one more time. These are our picks. Thank you all for tuning in. Welcome to Believe in Command. I almost said welcome to Bet Online. I almost said welcome to Bet Online. Bet Online is our sponsor.
Yeah.
So welcome to Believe in Commanders. I'm Anthony Armstrong. Brian Murphy over here. If you've been watching with us on YouTube, that's another introduction. If you've stepped away and you made your way back, we're going to do our picks now. And just want to let you guys know about Bet Online. Bet Online is going to be your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. You want to run these picks? Go to Bet Online. You're going to find all the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends. And as your continued source for all sports wagering information, Bet Online features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports and events, whether that's NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, or even golf. Head over to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure you use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards, BLEAV, to get those rewards, team. All right, let's jump right into this thing. Let's see. You have the line?
I do. Thursday afternoon, so that's important. So by the time you listen to this, the Bills and Patriots game will be over. So we are not future predictors there. But we are going to start with the Thursday night game. Bills going on the road to New England, 3.5-point favorite. I'm taking the Bills. I think that they are the better team. I know it's Bill Belichick, which kind of makes you nervous, but I'm going to take the Bills 3.5. I think they win that one.
I'm going to go with the Bills. At Bet Online is showing me 4, so maybe something just changed.
Yeah.
It just bumped a little bit. It got a little bit wider, but I'm going to still ride with the Bills. I think that would be the safe bet. They're a team really trying to get some things going. They started out so strong, but they've had some rocky performances as of late, but I think they're going to be okay. They should get this W. What's next here? What do you got? I got Green Bay and Chicago, but the Bet Online lines are different. So what do you got next? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm solo dolo. Didn't realize that. A little technical difficulties. No worries. Brian's going to be right back with us. I see him over there getting all situated. But we have a couple of picks next coming up. There he is.
Sorry. My computer was giving me the you better plug in now or it's over. So sorry about that.
No worries.
Where are we at? I apologize.
I was literally asking. I was like, which one do you have next?
I got Jets on the road at the Vikings. Vikings a 3-point favorite. Sorry,
I'll take that one. No, you're good. It's not written down in this order, so I have to go and find it. It's okay. There it is. Jets on the road to Minnesota. Minnesota -3. I'm going with Minnie.
I am as well. I think that's a pretty safe bet. Don't know what they're going to do at quarterback with the Jets. I don't know how long Mike White's magic can roll, but I think the Vikings are the better team.
Yeah, they had such a promising season, and things just got squirrely here in the middle. But I still think they have a pretty solid team. They'll have to figure out a few things at that quarterback position moving forward to see just if Zach Wilson will get to believe in himself again. So hopefully he does. Talented young player, but you got to have some confidence, and it has to be riding high when you're in this league. Absolutely. Minnesota.
Yep. And then next I got the Broncos on the road, in Baltimore, the Ravens an 8.5-point favorite. What are you thinking there?
8.5 points. It seems like so many points. It really does. But I also know that Denver's just not that good.
No.
They're really not that good. Like, for the sake of it, I mean, I think Baltimore wins all day.
Yeah,
It's just that 8.5 that throws me off because Baltimore has found a way to lose some games where they've had some wins, and I could see them allowing Denver to sneak into that lose by 8. You know what I mean? Barely
sure.
beat the spread. So for what it's worth, this is a win by Baltimore. It is a sneaky backdoor cover by Denver.
I think they're trying to lure us in there and think that that's going to happen, but I think the Broncos are in such a bad spot. I don't know who it was, but the guy got in Russell Wilson's face. Definitely
Yeah.
wasn't telling him to let's ride. It was something, another 4-letter word, not ride.
He said, "Buckle your chin strap." Buckle your chin strap. It was player safety.
Yeah,
That's exactly what he was saying.
Okay, Buck. It wasn't something else. Okay, Buck. Okay. No, I'm going with the Ravens. I think that they figure out that they're blowing these leads late, and what better team to do it against a bad Broncos team. So give me the Ravens to win and to cover just fine.
Yes, indeed.
All right, down in my neck of the woods, the Steelers coming off a Monday night win against the Falcons, who the Commanders just beat. Falcons a 1-point favorite at home. I have no idea what to do with this game, so I'm just going to give it to the home team and take the Falcons to win this one.
Yeah, for the sake of this is just like them picks last week, 1-pointers. You're just like, I don't know. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh. I'm gonna just say Kenny Pickett's got a little fire. He'll be able to make something happen down there. So I'll figure. Well, I'll do this. Atlanta don't have no passing game.
We saw that firsthand.
Yeah, we saw that firsthand. So I feel like Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to get active in the box and going to have to find a way to put his hands on get his hands on the ball there. But go ahead and give me Pittsburgh. You can have Atlanta.
All right, now we got the Tennessee Titans, who they're a tough team. They lost to the Bengals last week. The Eagles beat the Packers in a shootout last Sunday night, but the Eagles a 4.5-point favorite at home against the Titans. Ooh, this is an interesting one. I feel like the Titans, they game plan well. Mike Vrabel from that, Bill Belichick tree. He might be the worst team, but he's going to game plan well at the very least. So I could see this being a field goal type game. But I'm going to take the Eagles. With all that being said, just being at home, I think they're a little bit too much for the Titans.
I'm going to roll with the Eagles as well. I think the one time we went against picking the Eagles was whenever they played Washington, but they've shown up every single time, and I don't see why they wouldn't get this win. I mean, Tennessee's a solid team. They are. But if that running game gets going, this is a sneaky pick though, for real. It feels like Tennessee could cover this thing. And they could win if their running game just goes crazy. Now I don't know if it will. With they added Ndamukong Suh and they made some additions at defensive line. So I'm still going to take Philly, but I do have my eyes on this being some sort of an upset.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Well, right now, the Battle of the Cats, the Jaguars and the Lions, taking place in Detroit, is showing as a pick'em. So which feline are you picking in this one? Are you taking the sunny Jacksonville Jaguars or the Cats from up north and the Lions?
I'm looking for a coin to flip. I mean, both of these teams have come off some pretty gutsy victories. I mean, you saw Jacksonville beat Baltimore last week. So I'm going to roll with Jacksonville just because they're the home team. No, check that. Detroit's the home team. I'll take Detroit because they're the home team. That's the way I roll with these picks. I'm going to go with Detroit.
Typically, I do too, but like you said, for the sake of this, I'll go with the Jaguars. I like what they're doing. I think that they are maybe a year or two away from being legit. We know that Doug Peterson got a Super Bowl win, as much as we hate it as a Commanders and against the Eagles. But yeah, give me the Jaguars. I think Trevor Lawrence looked really good last week in some tough situations. So I'll take the Jaguars to keep rolling.
Let me ask you this one before we slide off here. Do you think Doug Peterson is coach of the year?
I can't do it. I think that in terms of new head coaches, I would still give it to Brian Daboll. I think that Andy Reid deserves it. And as much as I hate to say it, Nick Sirianni in Philly with the best record in the league. So I think there are a couple of coaches ahead of them. Had the Jaguars had a winning record this late in the season, I definitely would have said Doug Peterson, because it takes a miracle worker to clean up Urban Meyer's mess, and that's what I think Doug Peterson will end up being. But I think there are a couple guys just a couple notches ahead.
All right, I can feel that. I mean, hell, you got Mike McDaniel down in Miami. He's been
Oh
doing
yeah,
some special
yeah,
things as well. So,
yep.
hey, it's just it's good to see. It's good to see teams that are perennially, I say perennially. Jacksonville used to have some squads back in the day. Fred
Yeah.
Taylor, David Garrard,
Jimmy
Byron
Smith.
Leftwich, Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardell. They used to give the Colts fits. So let's not say they were perennially bad, but they haven't been good in a while. It's good to see those guys actually turning it around. So let's keep this thing rolling. It looks like we have our game next.
That's right. Commanders going on the road, 2.5-point favorite against the Giants. That means that Vegas likes the Commanders, right? Giving them a little bit of road love. So I'm going to give our Commanders love. I think they keep it rolling. I think they know what's in front of them. I think they're focused, and I think they're trending up a little bit where the Giants are dipping at just the right time for the Commanders to face them. So give me the homer pick and give me the Commanders.
Man, I tell you, they must have switched something.
Do
I
I need
got
to
it as a one.
refresh?
You might. I got a 1 point game, a 1 point spread right
Oh
here.
yeah, I just refreshed, so something's up there. So yeah,
Yeah,
well, I'm still gonna take the Commanders, even though that does make me a little more nervous.
I'm gonna still take the Commanders as well. I'm wondering if there must have been some news breaking while we were taping this here at 1:45 on Thursday. So maybe they officially ruled somebody out for Washington. They go ahead and brought that spread a little bit closer. But I still think Washington gets it. They will get this dub on the road.
I will say, Darius Slayton did not practice with an illness that kind of came out of nowhere. So I guess we'll see if he's playing for the Giants. But I feel like that would benefit the Commanders. So yeah, I'm not sure what the reason is for that, but that does make me a little nervous. That'll be interesting to see what happens there. So that'll be interesting to see come game time what it's at. I always like to see where these games close at right before
Yeah.
kickoff.
Yeah, it really those are the ones that make me it behooves you if you're feeling like it to if you lock in a bet earlier, you
Yeah.
get to have that spread.
Yeah.
And then if it shortens, then you could, if you still believe in it, you could double it up if you'd like to. So you have options there. It's pretty cool to see. But this is an interesting matchup. I don't think it's going to be on anybody's TV except in those local markets with Cleveland and Houston.
The Deshaun Watson Bowl. It sounds like it's going to be Deshaun Watson going back to face his former team. All kinds of emotions there. And I'm going to be emotional and take the Texans. I think that they want to at least play tough against the Browns, who they are significantly worse than, and they are a 7-point dog at home. I think that's disrespectful. And give me the Texans in this one. Part of that also, I think Deshaun Watson, it's one, you could be as talented as anybody, but to take a year plus off like that and then just kind of come in and expect to be crisp, I don't know that that's going to happen. I think I kind of like the Texans in an upset there.
Yeah, especially at the quarterback position. I think that's a big thing to come in and try to be like, all right, guys, let me try this thing again, rather than just me going out to run some routes. So I can stretch and be good, but having to play quarterback is different. I do think Cleveland can win this game. I think it's going to be closer than the 7, just because, I mean, like you said, first time back. And then, so first time back, and shoot, that's a lot of pressure. And going back down to Houston, and I think I saw that they said that some of his people that had sued him are going to be at the game, and it's just like I know they're going to make a big deal out of it. But next matchup, a little NFC North matchup, I got the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. Green Bay traveling down to Chicago. They are 5-point favorites.
Yeah, I kind of want to, if I were actually bet on this, I kind of want to see if Justin Fields is going to play because I think he could keep it close. I think the Packers, despite all their issues, are still the better team than the Bears.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning towards the Packers, but I could be talked out of it if Justin Fields starts in this game. But give me the Packers as of right now.
Yeah, I think that's probably my big thought. Like, if Fields is in there, that team's different. And I think Green Bay's kind of missing. They're missing something. I don't know what it is, but they're missing something. That cheese ain't melting right.
Well,
so,
and it's weird when Aaron Rodgers is asked about shutting it down for the season, and I think he said he's not opposed. And it's like, so you got a quarterback that's kind of half in it, half out of it. It's a weird year in Green Bay.
Yeah, it was one thing that like I said, people are hurt and whatnot, but it's just the timing of like, I've been playing with a broken hand, by the way, and I thought I punctured a lung, and that's serious and everything, but it's just like, hey, if you didn't play that well, you can just say you didn't play that well.
So So are you? I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt your pick, but I got a
I
question
didn't
about
pick.
them.
I actually didn't pick. I didn't pick it. What's your question though?
So let's say the Packers drop another game here that puts them at whatever they're at, 4 and something or 3 and something. How many more games do they have to lose before you're the coach, you're Matt LaFleur, and you want to see what Jordan Love has, and you do shut down Aaron Rodgers? I mean,
I
what would
feel
it take? Last 3 weeks, or what are you thinking?
I think it's shorter than that. If you lose to Chicago, go ahead and make that switch, baby. Go ahead and make that switch. I think you could probably just try to do it now.
Yeah,
You've seen that Matt LaFleur is not like out there to be best friends with Aaron Rodgers. They've had some good, banter whenever they're winning, but I mean, the whole relationship has been a little tumultuous. So
yeah,
let's call it what it is. You can kind of question it how you handle it, but Matt's doing things the way that he wants to do it, and I feel like I think it would take a loss at least in Chicago to do it, maybe 2 L's in a row. But you got to think if there's nothing to gain, then just let Jordan Love have it. I mean, you've already been through where you've been held hostage as a backup quarterback because the guy in front of you won't get the hell out the way.
yep,
Don't do it again.
yeah.
Don't repeat history.
I wonder deep down if the Packers could go back, if they would let Aaron Rodgers walk or trade or whatever it would have taken and kept Devontae Adams. I think there's got to be some sort of second guessing there on somebody's part. I'm just interested if they had to take a truth serum where they would be at. But that's neither here nor there. Can't change the past. It is what it is. So the Seahawks going to Los Angeles to face the Rams. When was the last time that a Sean McVay team was at home and this big of a dog, a 7-point dog? Well, were they at home last week against the Chiefs?
Yeah, if it was this season whenever it happened.
Yeah. I really think Sean McVay should have hung it up like he was talking about. I think an announcing job is in his near future, but they got the Seahawks coming to town. Geno trying to keep it rolling. A tough loss to the Raiders last week. I'm all Seahawks here.
I'm rolling Seahawks as well. And I thought Sean was going to hang it up after he won that Super Bowl. I mean, youngest coach to do it. And I'm thinking out of his little fraternity of coaching friends, him, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, Mike McDaniel, for him to be the one to get one and then hang it up the first. I mean, hey, that'd be kind of, bragging rights amongst your buddies. So give me Seahawks, though.
And it's not going to
I'm thinking Green Bay at the
I'm sorry. And it's not going to get any better for the Rams. They don't have any picks. I mean, there's no relief coming. Everybody's getting older. I don't feel bad for you because you got a Super Bowl, but it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, he made his bets. He played it like Madden. He's like, I'm just going to go and get the Super Bowl. And you see how valuable Super Bowls and championships are to a team. They will just mortgage the future in order to get the championship. And I'm not a big fan of that. Like, I get it, but I'm not a huge fan of that. I would like to see some continued success. I guess that what we get growing up in the 90s when you see teams have continual success over and over again. So, anywho, let's keep this thing rocking. Ooh, this is a fun matchup. Yes, indeed. Miami is traveling all the way to San Francisco. Long trip, by the way. 4-point dogs against the 49ers. Jeff Wilson going back. Mike McDaniel's going back.
Raheem Mostert. Give me the Dolphins. I'm riding with them. I love what they're doing. I love Mike McDaniel. I saw some mic'd up clips of him. He's hilarious. Give me the student over the mentor in this one. I just like what the Dolphins are doing. I think they play good enough defense that they're going to give Jimmy G a little bit of fits, and maybe I'm just a believer, but give me the Dolphins in this one.
Yeah, you're taking the Dolphins. I'm taking the 49ers. I think that the DeMeco Ryans defense that hasn't given up a second half point in a really long time, like a good 3-4 weeks, they haven't given up any points. This is going to be their biggest test. This is the game that every NFL exec is going to pay attention to see if DeMeco Ryans is that dude. If you're in Washington, whoever the next owner is going to be, Martin Mayhew, Jason Wright, you're watching this game. You're trying to see, is DeMeco Ryans going to be that guy? But I'm going to take San Francisco because I just feel like he's going to find out enough. He's going to find enough to slow them down. But, it's going to be a great game nonetheless. It's going to be a great game.
An interesting one in the AFC West. The Chargers win on a 2-point conversion. The Raiders win in overtime. Chargers with a better record going to Las Vegas, but the Raiders are favored by 1 point. I thought I was going to be sneaky and take the Raiders, thinking they were the underdog, but they're the favorite, so that's no fun. But I'm still going to take the Raiders at home in this one.
Yeah, I think they figured it out. They finally figured it out. You know,
We gave them some crap a few episodes ago, maybe a month or two ago, and they deserved it. But yeah, they've looked a little bit better these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, they have. But this gives me, the easy ability to go ahead and pick the Raiders. But them Chargers, they are just a frustrating team.
Yeah, they should be way better than they are right now.
So much better. My goodness. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Somebody can tell us. Here we go. Here's another matchup. This will be a good one. This is what, an AFC Championship rematch, is it? Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals. This will be a solid one.
Yeah. Give me the I'm tempted to take the Bengals.
The 1.5 point favorite for the Chiefs, by the way.
I think the Chiefs are fired up. I think they're out scorched earth. And I think they get the revenge game and beat the Bengals at home. Or they beat the Bengals in Cincinnati.
Beat the Bengals on the road. I'm gonna take Patrick Mahomes as well. I mean, these are two really, really good quarterbacks. I'm not sure if Jamar Chase is gonna play. Don't know about that yet, but either way, give me Kansas City. Let's keep this thing rolling so we can stay on track. The Colts are coming all the way down here to Dallas. 7:20 game. So the Sunday night game, Dallas hosts the Colts. 10-point favorites for Dallas. What do you got?
Dallas, big time. The Colts can't do anything on offense. I don't even know that it's Matt Ryan's fault. It's not just Saturday's fault. They just can't do anything. I don't know what it is. Maybe teams are just honing in on Jonathan Taylor, but give me the Cowboys in this one. I think this could be kind of ugly.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Dallas as well. This will be something that Washington watches and gets that recipe because for sure Matt Ryan can't throw it that far and didn't have anybody throw it to. So that's why you focus on Jonathan Taylor. Give me Dallas. Last game of the week. This one should be flexed to a whole other day if you could, but we can't. So Tampa Bay hosts the New Orleans Saints. They're 4-point favorites. The Bucs are. Brady and the Bucs, 4-point favorites.
It's ugly, but all of a sudden, this division is within like a game and a half. The Bucs are 5-6. The Saints are terrible at 4-8, but they're right there. So this is actually a pretty big game in the NFC South. We know the Falcons are right on the Bucs' heels, and even the Panthers are still hanging around at 4-8. So an ugly division like the NFC East a couple weeks ago. Bucs. Tough loss in Cleveland. I think that they get angry and they take it out on the Saints. So I think 4 points is no problem. So give me the Bucs here.
I'm going to go with the Bucs as well. I didn't realize that the Saints only have 2 interceptions on the year.
Wow. With like Honey Badger, Marcus May. Yeah. Wow.
And Lattimore. Like they only have 2 picks on the year. That's not very good. So, hell, Derek Forrest has more than that by himself. Shout out to Defoe. Right. I'm taking Tampa Bay. I think they get this one done. NFC East a few years back where 7-9 or 7-10 can get you in the playoffs. This is probably what's going to happen in this division. So Tampa Bay is the pick. I'm excited to see how these things play out.
Yep. Put in all your bets at betonline.ag and use Believe for your 50% welcome bonus. I think we forgot to do it last week. Do you have a AAA parlay? What are your 3 picks if you have to put together a parlay? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, you're good. I did not do the AAA parlay last week, but let's stay with these evening games. Let's stay with the 3.
So I'll let you gather your thoughts. I'll read them out. So the 4:00 and on games: 4:05 Seattle at LA Rams, Miami at San Francisco, the Los Angeles Chargers at the Las Vegas Raiders, and the last 4:30 game, the Chiefs at the Bengals. Some juicy ones in there for you to choose from.
This is a tough one right here. I feel like I would have to go with the picks that I made. I would pick San Francisco. I feel like they should to win. I'm not going to pick them to cover. I would pick them to win in the parlay by you.
Like it.
I picked them to win. I would take the Raiders to cover, and I would say go ahead and give me those Chiefs to win. So, win to cover actually. So, those would be my 3. You give me those 3 there. I think San Francisco gets that. Give me that one there and that one there. We'll play it this week.
There you go, the AAA parlay. You can bet that and more at BetOnline. We appreciate those guys all the time. You can check them out at betonline.ag. So hopefully we're talking to you on Monday, recapping another Commanders win, a victory pod, hopefully 4 in a row. Otherwise, we will talk to you soon. Thank you guys for checking us out, and fade us or go with our picks, whichever, but do it at your own risk.
Yes, indeed. We'll see you later. Y'all have a good evening, and I don't know, go football.
That's right.